Right. So a lot of you are giving me the answers. Okay, let me read some answer from you. Okay, so it says questions, how to ask questions, how we face any topic in a stand moment, give us some information. Okay, anybody else? Anything else? Okay, deep question, how to ask. What's the name? I'm not sure, so the MD Parvis or something else. So yeah, that's right. So today our class is all about how to ask deep questions. So um, can you please type in the chat box how to ask deep questions? That's going to be all about today's class. So after finishing today's class, you will not have any sort of problems at all to ask a question. So when we see, I mean, police, they you know catch some people and they take to the police station and they do the interrogation, right? Interrogation means a lot of deep questions. So today we're going to learn how to make that questions, and at the end you will feel that making question is very easy if you just follow the structure. So that's gonna be for today's class. So who is excited to learn so many things about deep question? Just I'd like to see who are curious. Please type in the chat box curious if you are. And now just I need a volunteer, and I would like to give this opportunity to give presentation, probably 2 or 3 students. So can you please type in the chat box who is ready for presentation? And that has to be video. So all I want from you is just turn on your video and say, just wave your hand, and I will pick you up, and I'll unmute yourself, and you need to give a presentation. So the topic is, what do you do every day? And you need to give us a really great presentation. So who has got that much brave and courage to do that? So type in the chat box, I would like to give the presentation. I'd like to see how many of you would like to give a presentation right now in front of me. Okay, so all you need to do, you need to turn on your video, because would like to hear you and would like to see you. I mean, who is giving the presentation? That's right. So I don't see any face at all. So all you need to do, you need to turn on your video, and you need to just wave your hand, and you just say, yeah, this is me. I'd like to give a presentation. Still, I can't see anybody else's face. So all you got to do, you need to turn on your video and you need to give a presentation. Okay. So I see Parvis, Mahfouz, well done. Thanks for showing up. So Parvis, can you please unmute yourself and give a presentation? Tell us, what do you do every day?
Thank you, sir, for giving me an opportunity. First of all, I get up early in the morning at 5:30 a.m. and then I brush my teeth and wash my face and hands. Then I complete my Fajr prayer, and then I go for a walk for 30 minutes and I come back. Then I prepare myself for my online classes, and while I for 5 minutes I taking my breakfast, and then my class runs from 8:45 a.m. to 11 a.m. Sometimes it take more times for 12 p.m. and then I take a short break for 30 minutes, and then in 12:30 p.m. I take shower, and then I complete my Duhur prayer, and then I have my lunch. After taking lunch, I take a break for 1 or 2 hours. Then I started studying for 2.5 hours. Then I go to our rooftop garden with my families and spend some family time or fun time. And then I come back my home and complete my Asr prayer and then I take a rest, a short rest, and while I am scrolling a mobile phone.
Thank you, Progress. Thank you so much. So now I'd like to go to Mahfuz. Mahfuz, can you please unmute yourself and give a presentation?
First of all, I try to thank you for giving me the opportunity. And usually in the morning, I wake up at 4 a.m. and then I prepare myself for Fajr prayer. And then I go to the mosque. And after returning from the mosque, I recite Quran for half an hour. And then I brush my teeth and make my breakfast. And then I have a cup of made lemon tea, especially in this quarantine. It's very helpful for our health. It boosts our prevention from disease. And then I get from my university and take a bus. After arriving at my campus, then I start to attending my classes.
Thank you. Thank you so much. So now I'd like to go to another person. So all you need to do, you need to turn on your video and you need to just wave your hand. So that's the thing you need to do to give a presentation. Miras, then I'll come back to Chandran. So Miras, can you please unmute yourself and give a presentation?
Yes,
So
sir.
what
I
did you do?
have unmuted myself. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
So what should I do right now?
So what do you do every day?
Okay. So first of all, I get up early in the morning about 7 a.m. or 8 a.m. around this time. And then I brush my teeth, I wash my face, then I take my medicines. After that, I take my breakfast. Then I prepare myself for my swimming classes. I take a private car for going there. And after I reached my classes, after I reached the place, then I start my classes. Then after my swimming classes end, I come back home through that private car, and then I try to study a little bit surrounding my IELTS syllabus. After that, I try to take my lunch, and then I play a little video games in my PS4, or I watch a little bit of TV, or I surf the internet. And then I take a little bit of rest. After that, in the evening, my online classes start. So I attend my online classes. After my online classes are finished, then I try to practice what I had learned in my classes. So in conclusion, after doing all of those things, I take the third dose.
Thank you. Thank you, Miras. So now I'm looking for someone else. I mentioned the name. I'm not sure. All you got to do is you need to turn on your video and just need to wave your hand, right? I'm not sure. What about the ladies? I can't see anyone else yet. So all I want from you is turn on your video and give a presentation. Okay. I'm gonna take the last person who would be the luckiest one to give a presentation. Okay. So Shruti, can you please unmute yourself?
Hello, sir. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
So, at first, good evening to you all. I'm Shupti, and I'm describing here about my daily activities. So let's start from the morning. At first, I wake up in the morning, and then I say my prayers for 2 or 3 minutes, and then I freshen up myself. Then I try to study. Whenever I get time, I study myself by myself, and whenever I don't get time, I help my mother in cooking. After that, I have my breakfast, and then I take my shower, and then I teach my students. After that, I take a little bit rest, and then I again teach my students. And in the afternoon, I help my mom to cooking, and after that, I have my breakfast, and then I have my computer class in the afternoon. I get ready for this, and then after that I attend my computer class. And when I come back at home. I'm attending the 7 days challenge for now this week. So I attend the classes, and after that I practice whatever our sir said, and then I try to do that homework what just our sir gave to us. And then whenever I get a time, then I chat with my friends, and then I have my dinner, and then I took a nap. I hit the sack. So that was my whole day. So thank you for listening.
Thank you, Shukti. Thanks a lot. So, yeah, so this was the presentation. I think, okay, just I'm asking a few questions. So how many of you found that this presentation is difficult? So can you please type in chat box? The presentation I have given to you, and we practiced a lot yesterday as well. Was it difficult or easy? Type in the chat box. The presentation I gave you, the question is, was it difficult or easy? Just please type in the chat box. I'd like to see. Yeah, so it's easy, right? So it's still, these are the baby steps. I mean, people will not take, you will not take, and probably you will struggle a lot. However, I'm trying my best to help you out. So all you got to do is you need to follow my instruction. So once you do that, so you'll definitely do better. Now, I'd like to take two more students for the presentation, and I'd like to go to see if someone is ready. All you got to do is you need to turn on your video and you need to hold your hand and give a presentation. Because once you start giving the presentation in front of 40, 50 people, that means you are improving your confidence. This is not the easy task to, start speaking in English in front of a lot of people. But I would say this is the great opportunity I'm giving you. So you need to grab it and you need to go for it. So who is the next one would like to give a presentation? Chandra Mohan, I think you showed your interest, right? So can you please unmute yourself and give a presentation?
Yes, hello. Good evening, all of you. I just start. I wake up early in the morning, and after waking up, I just fresh up and take bath. And after that, I hurry to my bus and go to my job place in a university. And after checking the schedule for the whole day, I just start taking one of my classes. And at around 12 o'clock, I take my dinner. I have my dinner. Sorry, I have my lunch, and after taking a lunch, I just go for a walk for 5 or 10 minutes. And after taking a small thing walking, I just join my classes again. And at 4 o'clock, I return to my home by a bus. And in the evening, I just go for walking and for some exercises. And at around 8 o'clock, I take my dinner. And after watching TV for a few minutes, I just take my laptop for the few works and assignments. And I just go for a sleep at around 10 o'clock. This is my whole student for the day.
Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. So now I'm going to ask you a question. Answer me. Try to answer me in your best way. So, what do you mean by language? Type in the chat box. When I say language, what do you mean by that? So, what does language mean to you? Type in the chat box. I'd like to see. So, when I say language, what do you think of? Okay. So, said a way of negotiating with each other. Okay. I'm not sure why you mean negotiating. I think you are negotiating with someone else right now. That's why it came up. Never mind. Mafo said it's a way to express our thoughts and feelings, etc. Expressing something in words. Okay. Type in the chat box. What do you mean by language? It's a feeling to express in your own thought. Okay. Source of communication. Okay. Excellent. Excellent. That's right. That's right. Type in the chat box. I'd love to see. Medium to communicate with each other. Okay. Excellent. Anything else? Anything else? Just type in the chat box a bit quickly so that I can read your comments. Okay. Okay. So what I'm gonna do, I'll share my screen right now. Let's see what I have got in my thing. Okay. So here. So. Okay. So this is the language, right? So I'm very straightforward guy, and what I understand is language means is listening and understanding. In another way, you can tell asking and answering. So these are the main two things of the language. So can you please type in the chat box? Language means asking and answering. Type in the chat box, please. I'd like to see. These are the two most important things in the language. That's why we are using language. So please type in the chat box. Language means asking and answering. So if you can do these two things, asking and answering, I think you know the language, right? So yep. So language means asking and answering. So please type in the chat box and write it down. Language means asking and answering. Okay, excellent. Excellent. Yeah, that's right. Language means asking and answering. Now, can you please type in the chat box? So, who is your favorite person? Type in the chat box. I'll let you see. Who is your favorite person? Type in the chat box. Is it your mom, father, brother, sister, wife, husband? Who is your favorite person? Type in the chat box, please. Right. Type in the chat box. Who is your favorite person? Okay. So most of the students are saying mother, say friend. Okay. So specifically, who is your favorite person? Okay. So what are you gonna do? This is the homework I'm gonna give you a bit earlier. So all you got to do, this is the homework. What does your favorite person do every day? You need to tell us. So all you got to do, you need to say the same way, but you know, when we started speaking, probably we make a lot of mistakes not using the third person singular number is or is, right? So that's why if you practice this question, so you will not make any mistakes. So the question is, what does your favorite person do every day? This is your homework. So all you got to do, you need to say, hey, good evening everyone, my name is Habib, and today I'd like to share with you what does my favorite person do every day. My favorite person is my mom, and she gets up early in the morning, she brushes her teeth, then she makes breakfast for us, right? So this is how you need to give a presentation. So now my question is, can you do it? This is the homework. What does your favorite person do every day? Answer me right now. Can you do it? Because if you don't practice and if you don't follow my instruction, you are wasting your time here. So if you can do it, please type in the chat box, yes, I can. I'd like to see how many of you would be able to do it. Type in the chat box, yes, I can. Okay. So I'm telling you again, how to give a presentation. You need to say, hey, my name is Habib. Okay, no. So you need to say, hi everyone, good evening. This is Habib. And today I'd like to share with you what does my favorite person do every day. My favorite person is my mom, my dad, my grandma, whatever, right? And you need to start, he gets up early in the morning, brushes his teeth, da, 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 da. This is how you need to finish your presentation, right? So I'd like to see everyone else presentation before ending the class. So make sure you do it and you submit your presentation. So now today's class is all about question and answer, right? So if I ask you a question is, do I teach you English? Type in the chat box. Do I teach you English? Type in the chat box. Do I teach you English? Please type in the chat box. Okay, so now I need to see your answer. Okay, answer me please. Do I teach you English? Answer me. Don't repeat the question. Answer me. Do I teach you English? The answer is yes, you do. Can you please type in the chat box? Answer should be yes, you do. Yeah, that should be the answer. Yes, you do. So now, if I ask you, do I teach you Chinese? What should be your answer? Type in the chat box. Do I teach you Chinese? No, you don't. That should be the answer. No, you don't. Okay. So, no, you don't. Okay. So next question I'm going to ask you. Next question I'm going to ask you. Do you love your parents? Type in the chat box. Do you love your parents? Type in the chat box. The answer should be yes, I do. And now, yeah, answer everyone. So I'd like to see everyone else's comment here. So now the next question, if I ask you, do you hate your parents? Do you hate your parents? The answer should be no, I don't, right? So the last question I'm going to ask you, is, do you want to help poor people? Type in the chat box. Do you want to help poor people? Do you want to help the poor? Type in the chat box. Answer should be yes, I do. Answer should be yes, I do. The next question I'm going to ask you, do you hate the poor people? So answer in the chat box. Do you hate poor people? The answer is no, I don't. No, I don't. So, I ask you several questions, and the question I ask you is an interrogative sentence. And can you please type in the exact sentence? The first question I ask you, do I teach you English? Type in the chat box. Do I teach you English? Do I teach you English? Type in the chat box. Yeah, just type in the chat box the interrogative sentence. Do I teach you English? Yeah, that's right. So you see in the sentence, do I teach you English? So there is a word is called do. And now I'd like to explain to you how the do comes and why do you need this do. And the next thing I asked you, do I teach you Chinese? And you answered me, no, you don't. That means no, you do not. Again, we have got an extra do, right? So now what I'm going to do, I'll explain to you what's the necessity of this do. So here you go. So now read them out. Just read on the screen. Please read on the screen. It says, do usually means to take an action, but we use do for interrogative and negative sentences. Here, do means nothing. That means we need do to make interrogative and negative sentences. So now I'm gonna give you a task right now. Can you please translate into your language? So if you speak in Bengali, give me the whole meaning in Bengali. If you speak in Urdu, please give me the whole meaning in Urdu. If you speak in Hindi, please give me the whole meaning of Hindi. Type in the chat box all together. Just translate it. I'd like to see How many of you can translate exactly what does this passage mean? So do usually means to take an action, but we use do for interrogative and negative sentences, but here do means nothing. That means we need do to make interrogative and negative sentences. So all I want from you is translation of this passage, of this slide. So I'm gonna give you 60 seconds to type it. Okay, I'm gonna give you 60 seconds to type it. Let's see how many would be able to. So on the screen you see a passage. So can you please give me the meaning of this episode of this passage? Okay, no, just do the translation. Yeah, so do the translation. So from here to here, do the translation in your own language. I'd like to see how is your skill in translating from English to Bengali or English to Hindi or English to Urdu. Just translate it. Okay. So I'd like to read some comments. Let's see. Okay, Shahriar Mahmoud. Okay, excellent. Shahriar, did you translate from Google or did you make it? I'm just curious. I think you made it, right? Okay, so excellent. Excellent. Can you please give me the meaning? So if you don't know exactly the meaning, please read out the Shahriar Mahmoud's comment. He exactly nailed it. So he said, that's the meaning of in Bengali. Just I need some more volunteers. So can you please just translate it? Just translate from English into Bengali, Hindi, or whatever the language you are speaking. So translate into that. Okay, so still I'm waiting to get the meaning of this passage. Okay. Okay, so I think you understood what I mean by that is. So, okay, Mahfouz said, okay, excellent, excellent Mahfouz. Arif, okay, excellent, excellent. Anything else? Anybody else? Okay, just I'd like to see how many of you can translate into the whole thing. Okay, so here you go. So if now we know that we need to for interrogative and negative sentences, right? For interrogative and negative sentences, we need do. That's why I have taken a do, right? So the structure is same, subject plus verb, but we need to put a do before subject. So the structure would be do verb plus subject plus verb one, then question mark. Can you please type in the chat box? The structure of interrogative sentence should be do verb plus subject plus verb one plus question mark. So just type in the chat box. So can you remember in the first structure we have said subject plus verb. Now we put a do. So do verb plus subject plus verb one plus question mark. So type in the chat box, please. I'd like to see how many of you really understood what the structure it is, because sometimes we may make a lot of mistakes because we don't follow the structure. So the structure should be do plus subject plus verb one plus question mark. So I'd like to see everyone's comment here. Do plus subject plus verb one plus question mark. Yeah, this should be the structure. So if you follow this structure, that means you are making right sentence. Otherwise, it's going to be wrong. So now the question is how we're going to make sentence. So now we know that this is the structure of interrogative sentence: do verb, subject, verb, question mark. So now what are we going to do? We're going to make a lot of sentences so that it comes in our mouth and we can deliver. So just think about this, the scenario. So you want to speak with someone else in English, and you said, "Hi, how are you? Yeah, I'm good, thank you." Then the person asked you something, and you answer them, and then you are taking a lot of time to answer the question. Why? Uh, um, Probably the person will go away. So all you got to do, you need to make the question very quickly so that you can deliver it and you can get the answer. So on that purpose, what are you gonna do? We're gonna practice this structure so that you don't have to remember, but it's gonna come through your mouth if you practice a lot. So are you ready? If you're ready, please type in the chat box READY. I'd like to see how many of you are really ready to practice this structure. So please type in the chat box READY. So now what I'm gonna do, first of all, I'll make all the sentences and then I will invite you to make all the sentences with me. So you're gonna start with do. So do I listen? Do we listen? Do you listen? Do they listen? Does he listen? Does she listen? Does it listen? Does Tony listen? So can you remember in the first structure we said I listen, we listen, you listen, they listen, he listens, she listens, it listens, Tony listens. So for he, she, it, Tony, we put a sound. So now for the interrogative sentence, instead of do, just we need to make does. So instead of do, we need to make does. That's the only difference. So for the question, for the interrogative sentence, for he, she, it, Tony is going to be does. Otherwise, the rest of the things is going to be do. So let me repeat. So I listen. Okay. The question would be, do I listen? So when you make a question, there has to be some sort of intonation that it sounds like a question. Otherwise, it's a flat sentence. So once you make a question, just try to press a little bit. Do I? Right? Do we? So I'm giving emphasis on I, we. So the same way you can do it. So do I listen? Do you listen? Do you listen? Do they listen? Does he listen? Does she listen? Does it listen? Does Tony listen? So this is how you need to make question, and it should sound like a question. So now what I'm gonna do, I will unmute yourself and I'll tell you to give me all the sentences. Are you ready? I know you're ready. So please unmute yourself. Okay, so where I'm gonna get the unmute option. Okay, so please unmute yourself. 3, 2, 1, go. Let's start.
Do I listen?
Listen,
Do we
do you
listen?
listen? Do you listen?
We
You
listen.
listen?
Does he
Does
They
listen?
listen?
she listen? Does he
He
listen?
listen? She listen?
Do he?
Listen? Does it
I
listen?
listen. We
I
listen.
listen,
You
you
listen. They
listen,
listen.
they
Does it
listen,
listen?
you
She
listen,
listen. It
Do
listens.
listen?
Tony listen.
Okay, so interesting thing is, even I saw, I mean, a lot of students, they couldn't make it. So let me tell you one more time. So you're gonna start with do, right? You're not gonna start from here. You're gonna start with do. So do I listen? So do I listen? Do you listen? Do you listen? Do they listen? Does he listen? Does she listen? Does it listen? Does Tony listen? So when you make a question, so it sounds like a question, right? So again, I'm gonna give you the opportunity to give me all the sentences, and it has to be interrogative sentence, and it has to have some sort of intonation as well. So what I'm gonna do, I'll unmute yourself again, right? So please unmute yourself. Please unmute yourself. 3, 2, 1, go. Please give me the sentence.
Do I
Do
listen?
I
Do
listen?
we
Do we
listen?
listen?
Do you
Do we
listen? Do
listen?
they
He
listen?
listen. She
Do
listen.
does
He
he
listen. Does he
listen?
listen?
Does
You
she
listen. Does
listen?
it
Does
listen? Does
it
Tony
listen?
listen? Do I
Does Johnny
listen? Do you
listen?
listen?
Do
Do
I
you listen?
listen?
Do you
Do we
listen?
listen? Do
Does
you
she
listen?
listen?
Do
Does
they
he
listen?
listen? Does it
Does
listen?
she
Does
listen?
Tony
Does
listen?
she listen? Does it listen? Does John listen?
Thank you. Thank you. So now, can you please type in the chat box? So when you make a sentence like, do I listen? Do you listen? Does it sound like a question? So type in the chat box, yes or no. It got to be, a question. So the sound should be like a question. So that's the only thing you need to do. So what I'm gonna do, I know now you can do it. So just I have changed the verb. So what I'm gonna do, Again, I'm gonna read them out, then I'll give you the opportunity to speak. So, do I speak? Do you speak? Do you speak? Do they speak? Does he speak? Does she speak? Does it speak? Does Tony speak? Right. So, what I'm gonna do again, I will unmute yourself, and you need to give me all the sentences, but make sure it sounds like a question, right? So, please unmute yourself. 3, 2, 1, go. This is start.
Do
Do I speak? Do you speak? Do you speak? Do you speak? Do they speak?
Do they speak? Does they speak?
Does he speak? Does he speak? Does it speak? Does Johnny speak? Do
Do they speak? Does Tony?
So thank you. Thanks for sharing that, and then thanks for participating. So now, so this is the just I'm gonna recap to make you understand that what happened before. So if you'd like to make a question, so you need do. So do you learn? Do you teach? Do you eat? Do you drink? So this is how you need to make interrogative sentence. So if you'd like to make positive sentence, then you can say yes, I do. And if it is not, then no, I don't. That's the only difference, right? So, for example, I gave, again, I'm giving another example. So, do you learn? The answer should be, if I ask you, do you learn Chinese? The answer should be no, I don't learn Chinese, right? And then, so this is the homework I'm going to give you. So what does your favorite person do every day? So all you got to do, you need to have 30 actions, you need to practice 10 times in front of the mirror, and you need to upload your video in IELTS and study in the UK, US, and Canada, right? And also practice this two-way structure. I'm going to show you what are the structures. So these two-way structures you need to practice a lot. These two-way structures you need to practice a lot. Now, what I'm going to do, I'll give you the opportunity to speak about the favorite person. So here is in this software there's a system is called breakout room, right? Breakout room means there's going to be a small room, probably 3 to 5 people, and I'm going to send you in one room. All you got to do, you need to talk about what does your favorite person do today. So you need to start with something like this. Good evening, everyone. My name is Habib, and today I'd like to share with you what does my favorite person do today. My favorite person is my mom, and she gets up early in the morning every day. And after that, what she does is she goes to the washroom, she refreshes herself, she comes back to the kitchen. See, I'm talking about my mom, and I'm always putting an S or yes sound. So make sure you're putting third person singular number. That's why I need to practice it. So now what I'm gonna do is I will just send you on breakout room, right? So I can see, okay, if I do 5, 7, 8, 9. So what's gonna happen is you're gonna see notification, join the room, breakout room. Click to join the breakout room. All you need to do, you need to just click, right? So once you click, you will see there will be 3, 4 people over there, and just you need to start your speech. You're gonna say, hey, can I start, please? And then you're gonna say, good evening, everyone. My name is Habib, and today I'd like to share with you what does my favorite person do. My favorite person is my mom, and she gets up at everything that was start. So the person finished, then the second person will start, the third person will start. This is how we need to practice right now. Are we ready to practice in a breakout room? Are you ready? If you're ready, please type in the chat box ready. And once you see the notification, don't wait here. Just click and go there and start. And I'll visit the room as well. So please click and join to the breakout room. Just click and join. Yeah, just click and join. Go there. Click and join. Yeah, just click. Don't wait here, because if you're waiting here, then someone will be waiting for you in the breakout room. So go there, right, and start practicing. Yeah, so Selena, I can see you haven't joined yet. Simon, please join. Shubo, please join. Okay, Simon just joined. So Shubo, please join. Selena, join. And room number 2, Nita, can you please join to room number 2? Shubo, I'm not sure why you left. So you need to join. Please join to the breakout room. Go. Don't know it yet. Go, go, go. I'll visit the breakout room as well. So please go there and start speaking. So Mehdi hasn't joined yet. Munira hasn't joined yet. Please join to the breakout room. Please don't wait here. Please join to the breakout room. All right. So, okay, some students said they haven't got the video link yet. Okay. So can you please type in the chat box who had joined the breakout room and started speaking? I'll let you see how many of you would like to. Okay, so Arif said me, Shukti said me. Okay, it's a great stuff. So there should be a small room and you can practice each other. Okay, so probably from now on, we're gonna give you the opportunity to speak in a breakout room, right? So other than, okay, so do you have any questions for me? We are almost going to finish the class. Do you have any question for me? If you've got any question, please type in chat box and I'll be able to answer you. So if you're watching from YouTube, make sure